Welcome to our last lecture of the poultry value chain analysis or identification of opportunities on the poultry value chain. This is lecture 10 and this is your action plan. Now that we have gathered all the knowledge from lecture 1 up to 9, you need now to put it in practice. So, carry home, what are you going to do? And that's what we're calling action plan. I hope the knowledge you got through these lectures is not going to waste. You are going to put it in practice, hence your action plan. So, what is an action plan? Well, an action plan is something that can be used to provide a proper description of how your organization or even yourself will be able to meet the goals and objectives that it has through some important and detailed steps. Indeed, you had an objective to come to this training. So, your action plan is a guide to achieve those goals. You did not just come here to get the knowledge, but to go and use it. An action plan is a checklist for the steps or tasks you need to complete in order to achieve the goals that you have set. So here you are. You came to this training. You have gained knowledge. Are you going to leave it gather dust on the shelves? No, you don't have to do that. So here are some very basic steps for doing your action plan. You start by a SWOT analysis. That was our lecture 9. You want to achieve something, you do the SWOT analysis and you come up with all those strategies. Having done that, now you set your vision, your mission, your vision, or your dream now. You have done your SWOT analysis. You want to start probably a hatchery. Now you set your mission. You set your dream. Where do you want to be in this hatchery, for example? Are you going to be the best hatchery around? And then you set your objectives. You set your objectives. And after the objectives, then now you do the action plan. An action plan for all those objectives that you have set. You could be having one or many or only, 2, 3. And then the action plan must lead to results, outputs. And of course, there is always monitoring and evaluation. You don't just set your action plan and then just go on without monitoring and evaluating. That means periodically checking, saying, are we on track? Am I on track? You monitor am I doing what I planned? What is happening? Are there corrections to make? And all that. Are you on course? Simply what we're saying. So, an action plan includes who is going to do what. That means assigning the responsibilities and setting the targets. When is it going to be done? Estimating the schedule and the duration of activity. In what order? Determining the sequence and the dependency of the activities. And then how is it going to be done? Defining the human, technical, and financial resources that are needed. And what for? Identifying and selecting indicators that can be used to track progress and monitor the performance of the action. So, that is an action plan. Who is going to do what, when, the start and end time, in what order, priorities, how, the resources that you will require, and what for. So, in order to prepare a detailed activity plan, the following should be considered. 1, List the main activities that you're going to undertake. Break the activities into manageable tasks. Like you don't just say, I'm going to build a house. And build a house starts with the foundation, the walls, the whatever. So all those manageable tasks that when you complete one, it becomes a milestone, an achievement. Clarify the sequence and the dependence between the tasks. Of course, you cannot build a roof before you build a foundation. And you cannot build the walls before you build a foundation. So clarifying the sequence is very important. Estimate the startup, duration, and completion of every activity. Don't just say, I'm going to do, to start a hatchery. When will you start it? And when will you finish it? Summarize scheduling of the main activities. And then define the milestones. Like I talked about building a house. Once you get the license, that's a milestone. Once you build a foundation, that's a milestone because you never repeat it again. Set up the walls, that's a milestone. So a milestone is a stage which you have completed and you not repeat it again, and it's difficult to get back to where you started. Then define the existing capacities and inputs, the equipment, expertise that are missing that you will require. And lastly, allocate the tasks among the team if you have one. So there you are. So now, your action plan, my action plan, you set your goal. You write there your goal, what do you want to achieve? And once you do that, like we are saying, maybe, start a breeding farm, or your goal is to start feeds, crops, growing the crops for your feeds. Then you see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5A, 5B, 5C, 5D, up to 6. Those are the columns. So column 1 list the activities. You have a goal there. What you want to achieve. You want to build a hatchery, like you said, for example. You want to build a flour mill, feeds mill. Then what activities? You imagine what I need to do to accomplish my goal. That's where you list your activities. And there they are blank. This is a template. You list them over there. For every activity, it's the start time. When will I start the activities? That's number 2. Column 3, end time. When will I finish the activities? You must estimate that end time so that you can monitor and evaluate. And then number 4, the resources. What I will require, to carry out the activities. There can be internal and external resources. For every activity you have listed, you need those resources. Thinking through them and listing them is important rather than getting ambushed. And then you do now your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths in relation to what you want to do? List them. What are the weaknesses? We have already done SWOT in lecture 9. So just repeat it here. The opportunities and the threats. Those will guide you, therefore, to again do the strategy. I urge you to repeat lecture 9, video 9, to do this. And finally, progress. How will you know you are progressing? So that's a template. That's a form. Let's see if we can do a hypothetical one. Here it is, a hypothetical one. My goal to produce chicken feed. Activities may include what I need to do and accomplish my goal, like we said. I'll need to plant soya and other crops. I'll need to build a workshop. I need to buy a petrol machine. I need to hire staff. I need to start feeds production. And for all those activities, you put there your start time. Like plant soybean February 2022, and then end time, this is continuous. You'll be planting every season. And then the resources that you require land, finances, labor, you see. And then your SWOT analysis, you have your own land, that's a strength. You have no experience, that's a weakness. You know, opportunities, they are agricultural officers. You know, threats, they are weather. Now, when you have this, you can now see how you are going to use your strengths and opportunities to address this. You lay down your strategies. And then, how will you know you are progressing? When you look at probably your first harvest, it will show that now you are progressing. Then we come back, you know, build the workshop, maybe December 2021. You need to build it even before you start planting the maize. You know, you finish, it's not continuous. By March 2022, you should have finished. After all, you have already February planted, so crops are coming. You need finances, materials. Again, if you have your own land, maybe, you know, no expertise can be your what weakness, you know. Agricultural consultants can be, you know, an opportunity, but prices can be a threat, you know. And then one monitoring progress. Once you see your foundation walls are coming up, you say, I am progressing. So you go on. Let's go now. After building the workshop, buy the petrol machine, maybe just March 22, March 20, you know, you just want to buy it once, not that I'll start buying it in March and end buying it. No, this is why you have just March. You can even have the dates if you want. And then, you know, you require resources, finance, you know, your strength, you have your own savings, weaknesses, you have poor knowledge about choosing the machines and all that. But the opportunity, there is internet that you can go to and Google. Again, prices could be a threat. And what are the progress? When the machine is on site, you have bought it, that will be showing progress. Now, hire staff. March 2022, April 2022, hiring, you know, advertising, recruitment can take some time. Again, resources you need are finances. Your SWOT, the strengths are savings. Weaknesses, no experience. You know, opportunity, they are hiring firms that you can approach, they hire for you. And then salary scales can be a threat because people coming in, there's already a salary scale existing which you cannot do anything about. And then when staff is on site, then you can measure your progress that way. And then start feeds production. You want to start in April, you know, you planned it in February, you have bought a machine. By April now, you have hired staff. By April, you can start. And again, this is production is continuous. So this can't say end time. You know, you require finances, you require materials, you know, your strength could be savings and a cooperative family, you know. Again, no experience could be a weakness. Experienced labor out there could be an opportunity. You can hire, you can poach, you know. Pastel, you know, the politics, the economics, the social, cultural aspects, the technological, the economic, the legal regulator. Those are some threats that are out there in the environment that you might face. And then once you produce the first batch, you can see that you are progressing. So that is the end of our training. I hope you enjoyed learning. May I clap for you, seeing that you are not clapping for me? Let me clap for you. Yes. And I still bow to you. You have been good students. I hope to meet you again in our next training. So I clap for you. I know you are also clapping for yourselves and you're bowing and saying thank you. That is me saying that. Indeed, you can see these are my poultry. I am a poultry farmer also. And this is again tilling, making feed, sukumas, and all that for my chicks. So that has been your tutor, Professor Henry Bwesa. That is my email, buihem@gmail.com. Please use the buihem@gmail.com, and that is my number. So we can do urban farming in Nairobi. Indeed, why not? And I'm saying, hope you enjoyed learning. If you did, please do me a short video for my own records and tell someone else about it. So I repeat to clap for you and wish you well. Thank you for having graced my training. Indeed, when I look at your video that you'll make for me, I will know what actually you gained, and that will be very refreshing for me. So thank you, and let's meet again one time. My contacts: Professor Henry Bwesa, buihem@gmail.com, you already have it, and my number. So bye bye.